Hello friends and hello YouTube. Today I am bringing to you a video on extreme hunger. I'm making this video not only because I've gotten a couple of requests to make a video on extreme hunger, but I'm also making it because I believe it had a major impact on me in my recovery, and when I finally understood it, it really helped me push through and push past those barriers to actually recover, if that makes sense. So if any of you guys if you're going through it and you're very confused and you don't know what to do, I'm hoping that the advice and information I can give you today will help you out with that. The first question I'm going to answer is, what is extreme hunger? Now, I have my notes here, so that's why I'm veering off to the screen. Extreme hunger is a very common side effect in recovery, and it's what I like to how I would put it in modern terms is basically when no matter how much the person eats, he or she feels like they're unsatisfied and that they need to keep eating and eating and eating in order to feel satisfied. This is very common in people who are also experiencing edema in recovery. I'm not sure if I said that right, but edema, just so you know, is water retention. Basically, to put it all together, extreme hunger is basically your response, your body's response to you feeding it again after all those months and maybe even years of starving yourself or purging. And the reason it's doing that is what my answer to question number 2 will be, which is, why does extreme hunger occur? Now, I learned a lot in doing this research, but for those recovering from either anorexia or bulimia, extreme hunger, like I said before, is very common. When you compare the hunger levels of a normal person to one of anorexia and bulimia, a normal person would usually have a hunger from, let's say, 0 to 5, which that's where 0 is not hungry at all and 10 is ravenously hungry. A normal person would have between a 0 and 5 hunger level, whereas a person battling anorexia would probably have a 4 to 10, meaning that they would almost never be not hungry, because since they're restricting themselves, they're kind of always hungry. For people with bulimia, it can vary from 0 to 10. It can be you restrict yourself so much that you want to binge, and then once you binge, you don't crave anything, you don't want anything at all because you're completely full. So that in itself kind of shows you how the hunger levels are already different from a normal person. So that's kind of why extreme hunger is so common in eating disorders. This is also due to the fact that when he or she starves themselves, their body ends up feeling like once they start being fed again that they need more food. So that's when your mind will trigger that you need to keep eating and eating and eating, and nothing will satisfy that mental hunger because your body feels like you're not going to feed it again. Also, the reason, which I found very interesting for those people recovering from bulimia, the reason that specifically their extreme hunger might be different is because when they binge on foods, right before they purge, your body absorbs carbohydrates faster than they absorb fats or protein. Therefore, usually when the person purges before or a little bit after they eat, their body isn't able to absorb the fat or the protein. And that fat and protein is what gives the feeling of satiation to the individual. So the failure for their body to be able to ingest that and really break it down is what makes them feel like they need to keep eating and eating and eating in order to feel satisfied. I hope that made sense, but yeah, if you have any questions, if I didn't say anything properly, I will gladly answer them in the description and in the comments below. Also, now on to the third question. Number 3. So, is it normal? Yes, it is completely normal to experience extreme hunger in recovery, and it's kind of rare that people don't experience it. I mean, when I experienced it, I was very scared, but knowing that other people were experiencing it along with me was comforting, and to know that I'm not alone and that it's okay to be experiencing this because it's normal. Question number 4. How long does it last? And also, what you can expect. So extreme hunger can last anywhere from a day to a week, or it can last even a couple months. Those who find that it lasts only a day for them, I would be very surprised, but for me it lasted months. I started recovery in November of 2016, and it is now November of 2017, and for me, extreme hunger kind of stopped around June going into July. There's still days, I'm not gonna lie, when I might wake up super hungry, and like not be able to satiate my hunger like no matter what I eat. But overall, like the repetitive every single day stopped at around June, July. It was kind of around six months that it lasted for me, and that's completely normal. Again, it depends on how much strain you did put on your body while you were in the midst of your eating disorder. If you've been struggling with an eating disorder for 10 years and you've been starving it for 10 years, you might have a longer period of extreme hunger than a person that only had starved themselves and been through their eating disorder for 1 year. Now, for me, I was in that period of constantly starving myself and not eating enough for about maybe a year and a half before I actually started recovery, and it still took me a while. So you can kind of try and gauge how long your extreme hunger might be, but it's not going to be that beneficial. I mean, it can be again, it varies from person to person, is what I'm basically trying to say. So now on to what you might expect when experiencing extreme hunger. Typically, it usually can come around by the 2nd month in your recovery, because the reason being, it takes your body a little bit of time to realize, wait, you're actually feeding me, so then it's going to respond with all those ravenous feelings that you need to keep eating. Don't be surprised that you could be consuming between 4,000 and 10,000 calories a day. For me, when I first ate over 4,000 calories, I was freaking out, but it took me a while to realize that that's okay. I mean, I woke up the next day, sure, I was a little bit bloated, but did I notice a difference? No. What helped me was to keep in mind that all that you might have eaten that day isn't just to help with all the actions you performed that day. It's also to make up for that deficit you put yourself through over those months or years of not eating enough. So sure, it's a lot of calories, more calories than the average person maybe, but that doesn't mean that those calories are worthless. They're actually doing something. So also, just a quick thing, because I know a lot of people say that, oh, I should just skip into intuitive eating. That's how recovery is going to work for me, because the recovered person eats intuitively, and so if I want to be recovered, I should start eating intuitively. No, that is not how it works. I thought that's how it works, but no, that's not how it works. So the reason you should not start intuitive eating before or as a means to recover is because your hunger signals in the first place when you're starting recovery are no bueno. They don't work. The reason is because when you begin recovering, your digestive system is so used to eating so little that it's entered into a practice called gastroparesis. I think I said that right. Gastroparesis. And basically that is when your digestive system slows down and tries to conserve as much energy as possible. So the reason why I don't recommend basically intuitive eating right when you start recovery is because again, your digestive tract has slowed down in order to compensate for what you won't eat, because that's what it expects. It expects you now to not feed it because you've not fed it so many times. Your body's smart. So basically, to wrap up this video, my number one tip is to, one, not be scared. It's normal to experience this, and it's a very normal thing to have in recovery. You're not a unicorn. You're not, I mean, when I say unicorn, I mean like it's not something that's only happening to you. It's happening to many other people as well recovering from an eating disorder. So if that helps you feel better, then I hope it does make you feel better, because it certainly helped me make me feel better. Make me feel better. Also be beneficial to eat calorie-dense foods. That is because on days where, I mean, you certainly don't want to just stuff yourself and stuff your face with food and then feel super disgusting at the end. So, but if you know your body needs energy, it might help you to eat calorie-dense foods such as sweet potatoes. In this case, I know for me, processed foods helped a lot. And before people say like, no, processed foods are unhealthy. I mean, to an extent, I would not recommend you go load up on a bunch of McDonald's and a bunch of Lenny and Larry cookies, even though I love my Lenny and Larry cookies, but because that's just not good. It's not good for the body. The body needs some natural nutrients in food, but. But in this case, when you're experiencing extreme hunger, you might want to eat some processed foods, because those processed foods will help. Since basically what processed foods are is, it's a food that the nutrients have already been processed and they're easier for the body to absorb. So when eating those during extreme hunger, it kind of helps you to get those nutrients faster than your body having to work extra hard if consuming something non-processed in order to get the nutrients it needs. And also, something that really helped me was the reassurance that it's not going to be this way forever. You are not going to feel like a bottomless pit forever and feel like you need to keep eating 6,000 to 10,000 calories a day and feel uncomfortable. I used to think that, and what I've come to realize is that if you just trust your body and trust in the process, it's going to be okay. You're going to be okay. The 10,000 calories, sure, you might eat that one day, but it's one day. You're standing on a planet in the middle of space that's spinning and rotating around the sun. For me, when I realize that and think about that, and then just think about, let's say, the 10,000 calories I just ate, they seems like nothing, because it helps, thinking about that helps to put things into perspective. So, yeah, and that's also a good tip, is to make an affirmation or something that helps to give you some perspective. So when you do have those days where you feel like you're ravenously hungry, rather than feeling guilty over it, just put things into perspective and realize that you're answering your body's hunger, and it's much better doing that than to give in to the eating disorder and not do it. That's basically all I wanted to say in this video. If you liked it, be sure to click the like button so I know if any of you guys would like more eating disorder recovery videos, and also leave a comment below if you have any more tips that you think might help someone, or if you have any comments or questions you'd like to ask me. Also, if you're not already subscribed, subscribe in the subscribe box below and click the bell icon so you know when I post new videos. Yeah, so thank you guys again so much for watching. It means the world to me that you dedicated your time to learn something from me, or even take the time to let me talk to you. I hope you guys all have an amazing rest of your day, and never give up, because you are worth more than that. So, love you.